Hi guys, so last week I was just scrolling the Twitters as you do, and I came across this post by Colonel Corn which had this really awesome Plants vs Zombies image that, as you'd expect, piqued my interest. In the comment section of the tweet, someone asked where the image was from, and Corn replied with a link to a web page that had a ton of Plants vs Zombies artwork and concepts I'd never seen before, all of which seemed to be Plants vs Zombies 3 themed. Now, the main website the page is listed on is the Tangent Agency's website. So these guys are a design agency that specialise in digital marketing and product design within the gaming and film industry. By looking at their clients, these are a huge company that have worked with the likes of Overwatch, Apex Legends, How to Train Your Dragon, Fantastic Beasts and tons more. But also on their site is a page for Plants vs Zombies. So just before we go any further and people start getting overexcited about the images and stuff, number one is that the most recent image was from June 2020, so this isn't something new per se. Number two is that on the page where the Tangent Agency lists their clients, Plants vs Zombies doesn't pop up on there. I imagine this might be due to the soft launch of PvZ3 being taken down for major changes. However, this page does give us a great idea of the type of things we can expect to see if or when Plants vs Zombies 3 makes a return. Right, so I'm going to work down the page and take you through all the juicy stuff we can sink our teeth into. The first of which is this main logo hero image, which as you can see is like, I guess, a redesign of the logo, which is pretty much identical to the BFN one apart from the colour being green instead of blue. As this page is the packaging and style guide, this makes sense to me for them to have taken the main PvZ logo, modernise it, and I guess to unify it in terms of it being simple enough for them to carry it over to future games without having to redesign the main part of the logo. Also, me talking with my graphic design head on, it's important when designing a logo to make sure it works when you shrink it down, especially when it comes to toy packaging. The logo will be pretty small, so having a simpler logo makes sense in that regard. However, I will say this logo has a lot less personality than the other PvZ logos we've had in the past. Next up, we have a description of what the design agency were asked to do, which was to develop a style and packaging guide to bring the breakout phenomenon of Plants vs Zombies to retail. As well as this, we have some character images of Sunflower and a brown coat. It's here when you can clearly see the PvZ3 vibe coming in, and we all know how most people feel about the PvZ3 being in 3D, so let's not open that can of worms.
Who's ready to ruffle some feathers?
Anyway, we also have 4 stills which are from a style guide or brand guidelines document. So as a designer, this is something I'm quite familiar with. Basically, this document is like a tutorial or set of instructions on how to use the PvZ style. However, in this case, I think the document is a combination of the design agency proposing ideas as well as it being a brand guidelines document. But let's just say I wanted to sell some licensed PvZ merchandise. I would likely be sent the brand guidelines to make sure I was using the PvZ style correctly and how the original creator intended them to be used. So the frames themselves highlight quite a number of graphic elements used in the style as well as the typefaces. If you ever wondered what the official typeface PvZ uses, it's Burbank, which is available to purchase, but they also use a custom typeface called PvZ as well as Roboto, which is a common one that most PCs will have. Continuing down the page, we have some larger images, again of pages from the guideline documents. Some of these are just admin things, I guess, like the logo and crop guidelines, just telling you what to do and what not to do essentially. But the most interesting part, especially for me, are these flat graphics of some characters and examples of them being used with the graphics above. The guide development explanation discusses how they were creating 2 distinct art styles, which I believe is referencing to the 3D style and the other 2D style. You may also notice on these document segments we also get a great piece of info, the date. Some of the pages are dated the 10th of April 2020, while the others are the 5th of June. So this was a project underway for most of last year, but it also indicates that potentially nothing has happened since. So I don't think what we're seeing here is for like a new game or anything like that. Now, there is a bunch of text on these, but I think the only one really worth mentioning is the synopsis, as it describes the original Plants vs Zombies game, not PvZ3. So yeah, but we didn't really learn anything new here. However, if you do want to read any of these, feel free to pause the video or check out the page yourself. There's a link in the description. So then we move on to some actual examples of Plants vs Zombies packaging, all of which look really awesome, I might add. But it's at this point you kind of get an idea of what type of products we could see based on the packaging. My initial reaction is that pretty much all of these are related to toy figures, especially as if you look here, there's just some examples of other PvZ figures we've seen in the past. The middle one is the best example as it shows you it's a brown coat that would be in there. I think based on the other images we saw, this bigger box is for the Garg. The only ones that I wasn't certain on were these two other boxes, which I initially thought were like for playing cards, but if you look closely, it's a much sturdier, bigger box that I guess could have a figure in. I don't know. Finally, we have some really awesome mock-ups of PvZ merchandise. I absolutely love these and I would 100% buy some of them if they do ever become available. I'm still really sad that the official PvZ merchandise store was taken down. Like, I never even had a chance to go on the website, let alone buy anything from it. I also can't understand why it got discontinued. Like, for me, I thought PvZ merch would be insanely popular, but hey ho, maybe like I say, if we do see the return of PvZ 3, we might also get the return of a merch store. At least I hope so. Overall, I'm not really sure what to take from all of this. Like, I absolutely love the style. I think it's modern, but the PvZ charm hasn't been lost. It still feels like it's part of what was originally created, but just cleaner in a way. In terms of what I think this means, because of the date, I feel this was like an ongoing project during Battle for Neighborville and whilst Plants vs Zombies 3 was in its soft launch state. However, with PvZ 3 not being received all too well and their decision to take the game down for major reworks, I feel like this project was either discontinued or what is more likely just put on hold for the time being. I hope sometime in the future we get to see further development with this, as I really want to get my hands on some awesome merch and I just think it'll go down really well with the fan base. Anyway, that's about it for today's video guys. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and if you do want to support the channel further, check out my Patreon page by clicking on screen now or through the link in the description. But other than that, I shall see you in the next one. Okay, thanks guys, bye.